Was.
Imagine the kind of stress that guy was under. He was under so
I
much
couldn't.
stress he had to get anesthetized every night.
Imagine dealing with so much pressure that the only way to get any sleep was with a powerful medical anesthetic. That was reportedly what Michael Jackson faced during the last few months of his life. Many years after his passing, people who were close to him, including bodyguards, coworkers, and family members, are still sharing what they witnessed.
He was going through so much. There were so many people that wanted a part of him, trying to control him.
One of his doctors was later tried and convicted of involuntary manslaughter. For many people, that ruling seemed like the end of the story. But for those who spent real time around Michael, they believe there are still important details that deserve a closer look. According to them, the pressure surrounding Michael kept growing during his final year. One of his longtime bodyguards, Bill, recalled the exact moment things started to change. He said it happened when Michael confirmed he would perform the This Is It concert residency in London. Even before everything was officially finalized, Michael looked at Bill and warned him that people who had disappeared from his life for years would suddenly come back. Bill admitted he did not think much about the warning at first. But after the concerts were officially announced, he quickly realized Michael had been right. People who had not reached out in years suddenly started calling again. Everyone wanted to be connected to what many believed could become one of the biggest comebacks in music history.
Because it was a big thing for him to put together a tour. So everybody and anybody wanted to be part of it.
Bill said he personally handled a flood of calls from people trying to get close to Michael again. To him, that showed Michael had expected it all along. Bill also spoke about something much more personal. He believed Michael's kindness sometimes left him open to being taken advantage of. Michael often welcomed children with serious illnesses into his life. He reportedly helped cover medical expenses for children receiving cancer treatment and invited families to spend time at his Neverland Ranch. According to Bill, some people took advantage of Michael's kindness and openness. He said that after spending time around Michael, some later made accusations and sought financial settlements. Bill shared his personal opinion, saying that if a parent truly believed their child had been harmed, they would not simply accept a payout. Because of that belief, he feels Michael became an easy target for financial claims.
There are people going after him financially when they feel that he did something to their kid. I mean, come on, as a parent, there's no amount of money in the world that would satisfy me, if you did something to mine.
The discussion also shifted to Michael's business decisions. One topic that stood out was his ownership of one of the most valuable music catalogs in history, including the publishing rights to many Beatles songs. Bill said that purchase came with a heavy price, beyond money. He believes it damaged important friendships and changed the way some people viewed Michael. Owning such a valuable catalog gave Michael major influence in the music business. Bill said he cannot say for certain whether that influence had any connection to later events in Michael's life, but he also believes it cannot be completely dismissed. Bill also described the side of his job that almost nobody ever saw. His team worked constantly to protect Michael's children from possible threats and frightening situations. There were times when the family quietly left hotels in the middle of the night after receiving threatening letters. According to Bill, the children were never told the reason because the adults wanted to shield them from fear. He described it as a level of chaos that stayed hidden behind the scenes. When asked about the day Michael passed away, Bill said the news did not feel real at first. That changed the moment he saw Michael's brother Jermaine step up to a podium and publicly confirm what had happened. Bill said everything around him seemed to stop. His thoughts immediately turned to the children Michael had left behind. When discussing what led to Michael's death, Bill did not blame any one person or point to a single cause. Instead, he said he believed it was the result of overwhelming stress, combined with too many people trying to influence different parts of Michael's life at the same time.
I don't know the true dynamics behind his passing, but I do believe there was several pieces of involvement, not just one person.
Another former bodyguard, Matt, also described the extraordinary security surrounding Michael. He said Michael often traveled with a personal physician because he believed his level of worldwide fame required protection similar to that provided for a head of state. According to Matt, death threats were something Michael dealt with on an almost daily basis. Matt also shared one of the most emotional moments he witnessed during his time working with Michael. It centered around the release of the album Invincible. By most industry standards, the album performed well, selling around 5 million copies. But Michael compared it to Thriller, which sold well over 100 million copies, and he reportedly saw the result as a major disappointment.
I said, Michael, why do you feel like this? And he said, listen, Matt, I spent 5 years of my life on this album, and it's my greatest piece of work. But Sony Music, this is what Michael told me, are not promoting it like I'm used to.
Matt recalled hearing Michael become extremely frustrated during phone conversations. He said Michael talked about filing lawsuits worth hundreds of millions of dollars because he believed years of hard work had been wasted. Away from the public, Matt said Michael sometimes locked himself in a room and cried, feeling deeply hurt and believing the music industry had failed him. According to Matt, Michael believed Sony was not giving Invincible the same level of promotion as his earlier albums. Matt also claimed the financial stakes were enormous. He said Michael had reportedly borrowed nearly $200 million from Sony to help finance the project and used his valuable music catalog as collateral. Under that arrangement, if the project failed to meet certain obligations, ownership of the catalog could reportedly be placed at risk. Matt said people close to Michael warned him that the situation was working against him. They believed the record label had strong business reasons to benefit if control of the valuable catalog eventually changed hands. Matt also mentioned long-standing resentment from a well-known figure in the music industry connected to that same catalog. He chose not to identify the person for legal reasons and described that part as his personal recollection.
But there was a certain superstar, who we can't name because we'll get sued, who was linked to this catalogue, who never really forgave Michael about buying it. And Michael would come out of his room some days crying, saying, he's got to me, he's been abusive on the phone to me.
Matt said Michael would sometimes come out of his room in tears after difficult phone calls, describing the pressure as constant. He also claimed Michael offered that individual several opportunities to buy the catalog back, but no agreement was ever completed. These specific claims reflect Matt's personal account and have not been independently verified. Matt spoke openly when asked whether Michael was vulnerable to manipulation by some of the physicians around him. In Matt's opinion, certain doctors encouraged dependency by prescribing medications that could lead to addiction. He believed that keeping Michael dependent allowed those individuals to remain close to him and continue influencing parts of his personal life.
By doctors, yeah, because the doctors were clever. They were prescribing something, getting him addicted on it, and then he felt like he needed them in his life. I'm convinced to him that he had a medical issue.
These statements reflect Matt's views. The conversation later turned to Dr. Conrad Murray, who was convicted of involuntary manslaughter in connection with Michael's death. Matt said he remained loosely in contact with Murray after his release from prison and even shared a media contact in Australia. According to Matt, Murray has continued to deny wrongdoing and has not accepted responsibility for Michael's death. One of the most unforgettable memories Matt described involved a phone call that took place 2 nights before Michael passed away. Matt said Michael sounded confused and unusually unsettled, a condition he had only witnessed once before during an earlier trip to Berlin. When Matt asked whether he had taken anything, Michael reportedly replied that a doctor had given him something to help him keep going because producers were close to shutting down the show. The part that stayed with Matt the most was not only Michael's unusual behavior. During that same phone call, Michael reportedly asked for contact information for his estranged father, Joseph Jackson, even though the two were widely known to have a distant relationship. Michael also asked to speak with Matt's young daughter. At the time, Matt believed Michael was simply exhausted from everything happening around him. Looking back, Matt said the conversation carried a much deeper meaning than he realized at the time. Public figures have also discussed different parts of Michael's final days. Podcast host Joe Rogan has publicly questioned parts of the official narrative and commented that eyewitness accounts do not always provide the complete picture. His remarks reflect public discussion and personal opinion, rather than new verified evidence.
His very doctor said that he was chemically castrated.
Talking about the guy who killed him?
Yes.
Yeah.
That guy said he was chemically castrated by his parents to protect his voice.
Producer Teddy Riley, who worked closely with Michael for many years, chose not to discuss the circumstances of Michael's death in detail. He explained that past comments had been taken out of context, creating problems he did not want to repeat. Teddy said he was not willing to put his career or his family at risk by speculating publicly about such a sensitive subject. Motown legend Smokey Robinson shared a more personal reflection. He said he learned that Michael had a physician living at his home who could reportedly provide him with almost anything he requested, including the anesthetic later connected to his death. Smokey compared that situation with his own recovery after surgery, when he was given the same medication under strict medical supervision and remained unconscious for several hours. Smokey said it deeply troubled him to hear that Michael had reportedly been using that powerful anesthetic simply to fall asleep without the same level of medical oversight. He described the news of Michael's passing as a complete shock and said it was difficult to believe someone with so much talent was suddenly gone. Commentator Dr. Umar has focused less on the medical aspects of the case and more on Michael's business decisions. He has argued that Michael's greatest strength was not only his music, but also his financial strategy. Dr. Umar pointed to Michael's purchase of the Beatles' music catalog and other major acquisitions as examples of how influential he became within the entertainment industry. In Dr. Umar's opinion, that level of influence also created powerful rivals. Dr. Umar has also shared his personal theory that business interests may have worked against the success of Invincible in hopes of increasing financial pressure on Michael and weakening his position regarding the Beatles' catalog. He has further suggested that the child abuse allegations made against Michael were connected to separate business ambitions involving a major entertainment company. He has also referred to public claims from an individual who later said family members pressured him to make accusations in exchange for a financial settlement. These claims remain disputed and have not been established as fact. These claims are unverified and reflect personal opinions rather than established facts. No credible investigation has found evidence linking Michael Jackson's death to a business acquisition. There is also no verified evidence connecting the criminal allegations he faced to any corporate deal. Although these ideas continue to circulate online and in public discussions, they remain speculation rather than documented history. The final, and perhaps most emotional perspective, comes from Michael's older brother, Tito Jackson. When asked what went through his mind after learning Michael had passed away, Tito described it as the most heartbreaking loss of his life. He explained that the pain was unlike any other loss his family had experienced, because Michael was not only a world-famous entertainer, but also his brother. When asked about Dr. Conrad Murray, Tito did not respond with anger. He said he was raised to believe in forgiveness and does not carry bitterness. At the same time, Tito believes Murray was responsible for Michael's medical care that night and should have been closely monitoring him instead of allowing the situation to unfold as it did.
He's a doctor and he knows what he did and whatever he was administering. To my brother, he should have been there watching and monitoring as a doctor and not on the phone with his girl.
For Tito, forgiveness does not erase responsibility or change what happened. More than 15 years after Michael Jackson's death, the people who knew him best are still trying to make sense of those final days. They continue to reflect on the intense pressure, the isolation, the business conflicts, and the medical decisions that ultimately surrounded the end of his life. Even after years of investigations, documentaries, and countless interviews, many people who knew Michael personally continue to share different memories of his final months. Some remember an artist determined to deliver one last unforgettable performance. Others remember someone carrying enormous pressure behind the scenes. Those accounts sometimes overlap, and sometimes they conflict, which is why separating first-hand recollections from verified facts remains important. What is clear is that Michael was preparing for one of the biggest concert events of his career. The expectations were enormous, with fans around the world waiting for his return to the stage. Rehearsals were demanding, schedules were packed, and every decision seemed to carry even greater weight because so many people and businesses were involved. The conversations shared by former bodyguards, friends, family members, and collaborators reveal how differently people experienced that period. Each person saw only part of the bigger picture, offering their own perspective based on what they witnessed. Together, those accounts create a more detailed view of the challenges Michael faced during his final chapter, even though some questions may never have definitive answers. Even today, Michael Jackson's final chapter continues to spark discussion around the world. New interviews, archived footage, and first-hand recollections regularly bring fresh attention to events that many believed had already been fully examined. While some details have been confirmed through official records, other stories remain personal memories that cannot always be independently verified. One point that appears consistently throughout many interviews is the extraordinary amount of pressure surrounding the This Is It concerts. Those close to Michael have described an environment filled with demanding rehearsals, constant expectations, and non-stop attention from the media and the entertainment industry. Supporters believe he was determined to give fans a remarkable comeback, despite the enormous challenges he was facing behind the scenes. More than a decade later, Michael's music, performances, and influence continue to reach new generations of fans. At the same time, the conversations about his final months remind people how complicated life can become for someone living under constant public attention. For many who knew him personally, the memories are not only about the headlines, but also about the person they remember behind the global fame. Some of what has been shared in this video comes from first-hand accounts by people who said they were close to Michael Jackson. Other parts reflect personal opinions, theories, or claims that have not been independently verified. It is important to consider each account carefully and distinguish between verified facts and individual recollections. While many questions have been explored over the years, the complete story of Michael Jackson's final months may never be fully known. What remains undeniable is the impact Michael had on music, entertainment, and millions of fans around the world. His life, career, and legacy continue to inspire discussion, and new perspectives still emerge years after his passing. If you found this video interesting, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may want to hear these different perspectives. We would also love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video.